Hey, welcome back to Sports Side. So today we're just going to be talking about the importance of programming, or the importance of making sure that you work out and not hurt yourself because you're eating less, especially while you're dieting. I'm doing this video because one of my clients, he was asking me, how do I train? Currently right now, as I mentioned in the last video, I'm currently dieting, but I have to make sure that I maintain the muscle that I've been working for. The real question he was asking me is, how many times a week do I train? Do I need to train 5 times a week, 3 times a week? So because my goal is to get cut, I have to make sure that I lift super heavy. I like to program in compound movements, squats, deadlifts, military press, things that involve multiple muscle groups being worked at the same time. I like to train like an athlete, but I also like aesthetics along with it. Pursuit of aesthetics is I have to make sure that I keep track of my calories. If I don't keep track of my calories or keep track of my protein, then everything is just going to be really hard for me to get to the desired goal, which is to be really cut but also maintain performance. I actually like being active, and so when I play certain sports, I like to maintain that performance. So a lot of times you do a calorie deficit so that you can lose weight. So while you're doing a calorie deficit, you don't want to do too much. Sometimes athletes push it too much because they're already doing really strong training and they decide to actually cut their calories way too much, or by eating healthy, they don't keep track of the amount of calories that they're having, and they end up actually being in a deficit. A lot of athletes nowadays get hurt during the off season or at the beginning of the season because they're not careful about their programming matching their goals, because they'll have an entire season of playing and you need rest for your body. But what some of them will do is, because they have an athlete mentality and they have to push it, they'll go straight into a really grueling programming throughout the off season and then get back into the season, and that's when injuries tend to happen. So Matt Kemp is actually one that is like very recent. He had like a phenomenal season with the Dodgers. I think he was in great shape, but then he said he wanted to aim for a 50-50 season where he was going to get 50 home runs, 50 stolen bases. Well, he was really training hard, and then when he came into the season that he had predicted he wanted to do that, he ended up getting hurt, and I believe it was a bunch of nagging injuries. And so that's why it's very important for you to make sure that you get enough rest even while you're training really hard. I had a previous experience when I was in college. I was playing soccer, I was playing basketball, I was deadlifting, squatting 4 miles every Sunday, and all was in anticipation because at the time I was going to go on a spring break vacation. So when I was getting ready for that spring break vacation, I wanted the spring break body, but I also wanted to keep playing well in basketball and soccer and other things because that was my competitive nature. But then, because my calories, a deficit, as I mentioned before, were low, my body was not recovering that well, is I had an Achilles rupture, a full rupture, where my entire Achilles tendon all the way here felt fine before the injury, but that injury happened because with Achilles ruptures, it tends to happen with overuse. Kobe Bryant, that's one guy that you can definitely tell when he ruptured his Achilles, it was because of overuse. So sometimes you need rest. This day I decided to do back squats. So I'm gonna show you how this workout went, and then I'm gonna give a little commentary as to how each exercise was planned out. All right, check me out. Yeah, in this clip, basically, I'm doing my squats, and I always do full barbell squat, or as they call them, ass to grass squats. And because I had warmed up, as you can tell, that rumble roller in the corner, I always use that to release my glutes and make sure that my hips are moving nice and slowly. And here, the way that I'm starting, my hips were totally not tight at all, so everything was going well. And I just did a quick set just to make sure that I got the blood flow going. Have everything nice and warmed up. We're getting a little bit in the higher weights, and then here I decided to do 275. I did 275 just to do 3 because I still haven't gotten to my top set. But just getting that 275, getting that musculature warmed up. Your muscles are going to be burning a little bit, but this is also so that you can get your central nervous system ready for that top set. All right, this is the big boy weight. This is the 315. I was aiming for 5 reps on this one. This was a really tough one. coming up fine, just fine on the first and second one. It was once I got to that third or fourth rep, that's when it got a little bit more difficult, but I just make sure to push my weight through the heels, making sure to keep my core tight, big chest, so that prevent injury. And as you can tell there, that last rep just gets a little tough. Intensity that I wanted, this is gonna allow me to maintain enough muscle while I stay on a deficit. So what I want you to gain from this video is that by looking at how much you eat, your workout is appropriate for your goal, and also you need to make sure that your programming is also set individually. Sometimes your teammates, just because you're in the gym at the same time, does not mean you both have the same individual goals. So you need to plan accordingly. So that's that video. Explain calorie deficit, explained programming, and next time we're gonna talk a little bit about how squats can help you, and then also different tips on how your squats can be a little bit better. But thanks for checking me out here at Sportside. If you haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe. There'll be some more interesting stuff coming up on Sportside that are gonna be relevant to your goals. All right, check me out.